Welcome to Deep Lynx, where we dive into the uncomfortable truths and expose the harsh realities that most people don't want to face. Today, we're tackling a subject that's as painful as it is necessary: divorce. Specifically, we're getting into the red pill reality of divorce, what men need to know. Let's cut to the chase. Divorce is like walking into a lion's den blindfolded. You might think you're prepared, you might even think you've got it all under control, but the truth is, most men don't have a clue what's coming their way. The reality is this: the moment you say, "I do," you're stepping onto a battlefield, and if you're not careful, divorce will be the war that destroys you. Now, I know some of you might be sitting there thinking, that won't happen to me. My marriage is different. My wife is different. Let me stop you right there. Statistically speaking, over 70% of divorces are initiated by women. That's right, the woman who once vowed to love you for better or worse is more likely to be the one who pulls the trigger and ends it all. And when she does, it's not just a breakup. It's a full-blown legal and financial assault that can leave you devastated. Let's talk about the most brutal part first: the money. If you think your finances are safe just because you've been smart with your money, think again. The family court system is rigged, and it's rigged against men. You might have worked your entire life to build up a savings, buy a house, maybe even invest for the future. But in a divorce, all that hard work can be wiped out in an instant. It's like playing a game where the rules are made up as they go, and surprise, surprise, they're not in your favor. Child support is one of the biggest traps. You could be the best father in the world, involved in every aspect of your kids' lives, but the court doesn't care. All it sees is your income. The more you make, the more they take. And don't think for a second that the money you're paying is really going to your kids. In too many cases, it's lining her pockets, funding her lifestyle while you're left struggling to make ends meet. And if you fall behind, the penalties are severe. They can garnish your wages, suspend your driver's license, even throw you in jail. All because you couldn't keep up with an impossible system. Then there's alimony, or as I like to call it, a life sentence for the crime of getting married. Alimony is supposed to be about helping the lower-earning spouse get back on their feet. But let's be honest, how often does that really happen? What it really is a system designed to keep men paying for a relationship that's long over. You could be divorced for years, but as long as she can convince the court she needs your money, you're on the hook. And it doesn't matter if she's perfectly capable of working. The courts often don't care about that either. They just see a man with a paycheck and a woman with her hand out, and they rule accordingly. Now, let's get into the division of assets, or as I like to call it, legalized robbery. You worked hard, you saved, you invested, and you built something. But the moment that divorce paperwork is filed, all of that is up for grabs. The courts don't care who contributed what, who sacrificed more, or who took on the financial burden. They just split it up, often giving the lion's share to the woman. It doesn't matter if you were the one who paid the mortgage or if you were the one who built up the retirement fund. In the eyes of the law, it's all community property, and it's hers just as much as it's yours, if not more. Let's face it, women know the game, and they know how to play it well. They know that when they walk away, they're walking away with more than just their freedom. They're taking a chunk of your life with them. They've got the courts, the laws, and society backing them up. They know that when push comes to shove, the narrative will always paint them as the victim and you as the villain. Even if you did everything right, even if you were the perfect husband, you're still going to be painted as the bad guy. But here's where a lot of men screw up. They walk into marriage with their eyes wide shut. They ignore the red flags. They think they're different, that their relationship is special. Well, let me tell you something: love doesn't protect you from the reality of divorce. Love doesn't pay the bills, and it sure as hell doesn't stop a judge from ruling against you. The harsh truth is that most men set themselves up for failure because they're not prepared. They think marriage is some kind of fairy tale, and when reality hits, they're blindsided. Here's a truth that might sting a little: if you don't have self-discipline, you're setting yourself up for disaster. If you're the type of guy who can't stand up for himself, who lets his woman walk all over him, who ignores the warning signs, then divorce is going to chew you up and spit you out. You have to be strong, you have to be smart, and you have to be prepared. Because if you're not, you're going to find yourself in a world of hurt, and nobody is going to come to your rescue. And let's talk about the kids for a minute. The courts love to talk about the best interests of the child, but what they really mean is what's best for the mother. Fathers are treated like second-class citizens when it comes to custody. The idea of 50-50 custody sounds great on paper, but in reality, it's a pipe dream. If you get every other weekend and a few weeks in the summer, you're lucky. Most dads are reduced to being visitors in their own children's lives. And the worst part? Even if you're a good father, even if you've done everything right, the courts can still rip your kids away from you. It's all about who plays the victim better, and guess what? The system has already decided who that is. And if you think that's the end of it, think again. Divorce doesn't just take your money, your house, and your kids. It takes a toll on your mental health too. The stress, the depression, the anger, it all builds up. And who do you have to talk to? Nobody. Because as a man, you're expected to just suck it up and keep going. Nobody cares about your mental health. Nobody cares about your feelings. You're supposed to be the rock, the unshakable pillar of strength. But let's be honest, even rocks crumble under enough pressure. The system is designed to break you. The courts, the laws, even society, they're all set up to make sure that when a marriage ends, the man takes the fall. And if you're not prepared for that reality, you're going to get crushed. So what can you do? First, stop being naive. Understand that marriage is a contract, and like any contract, it comes with risks. If you're going to get married, you better make damn sure you know what you're signing up for. Protect yourself. Get a prenup. Know your rights. And don't ever let your guard down. Because the moment you do, that's when she strikes. Second, focus on yourself. Build yourself up so that no matter what happens, you're going to come out on top. That means staying in shape, working on your career, and keeping your finances in order. Don't let a woman be your sole purpose in life. Have your own goals, your own dreams, and make sure you're living for yourself first and foremost. And finally, if you're already in the thick of it, don't give up. Yeah, it's going to be tough. Yeah, it's going to hurt. But you can get through it. You can rebuild. You can come out stronger on the other side. Don't let the system break you. Don't let her win. You've got to fight for yourself, for your future, and for your kids if you have them. So there it is, the red pill reality of divorce. It's brutal, it's unfair, and it's stacked against you. But if you're smart, if you're strong, and if you're prepared, you can survive it. Hell, you can even thrive. But it all starts with waking up to the truth. One last thing, don't fall for the trap of thinking you're the exception. The system doesn't care who you are or what you've done. It only sees a man and a woman, and it's already decided whose side it's on. That's why you need to be on your guard from the start. Never assume that just because you love someone, they won't turn on you. Never assume that the courts will be fair, or that society will see things from your perspective. If you make those assumptions, you're setting yourself up for failure. You have to be prepared to protect yourself because nobody else will. That means doing your homework before you ever say I do. That means understanding what you're signing up for and making sure you're not putting yourself in a position where you can be taken advantage of. That means being realistic about what could happen if things go south. And let's be real, the odds aren't in your favor. More than half of marriages end in divorce, and when they do, it's usually the man who gets the short end of the stick. The courts will bleed you dry if you let them. They don't care about fairness or justice, they care about upholding a system that's been rigged for decades. A system that sees men as nothing more than a wallet with legs. But you're not helpless. You can fight back, and you can win. It starts with knowledge and preparation. It starts with being aware of the risks and taking steps to mitigate them. It starts with being a man who stands up for himself, who refuses to be a victim, and who takes control of his own life. And if you're already in the thick of it, if you're going through a divorce right now, don't lose hope. Yes, it's going to be tough. Yes, you're going to face challenges that you never imagined. But you can get through it. You can come out the other side stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. Don't let the system break you. Don't let her win. You've got to fight for yourself, for your future, and for your kids if you have them. Because at the end of the day, you're the only one who can. Thanks for tuning in to Deep Lynx. If you found this podcast helpful, if it opened your eyes to some harsh realities, then hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We've got more hard truths coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss them. Stay strong, stay smart, and I'll see you in the next episode.